Aloha and good evening, everyone, on this pleasant Friday night from Lehi, Utah. This is the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. This is Skyridge basketball on KSL Sports Rewind, presented by Heidemann & Associates, Western Governors University, and UCCU. And tonight, the Skyridge Falcons welcome in the number one team in Utah, the Corner Canyon Chargers, in a Region 4 showdown with teams heading in opposite directions. With my broadcast partner, the former guard from Goshen High School in the great Hoosier state of Indiana, Colton Potter. Alexander Timolip with you here. So, Colton, like I just said, two teams going in opposite directions. But don't let the record fool you about Skyridge. This is a team that just doesn't know how to quit.
Absolutely. They've shown that many different times this year, that they've been able to fight back from double-digit deficits to even take the lead in some cases. It should be a fun game tonight, but it's important for both teams, but especially Skyridge, to get off to quick starts.
Yeah, Skyridge is currently sitting at number 18 in the UHSAA RPI, the final RPI before the final rankings come out next week on Friday morning. And they are coming off a very heartbreaking loss, in which they did, Colton Potter, come back and take the lead against arch rival Lone Peak with under a minute to go. And Corner Canyon has been running roughshod over everybody this season. This was the first time since December where they failed to win a game by more than 10 points, beating Westlake by only 6. Second shot, good. And that doubles the lead back to 28-14.
Skyridge, I mean, they got off to that, got down 11 right off the start. Besides that, they've been in this game, and they're competing pretty well despite being massively undersized. Mason Hunter's been aggressive on the offensive end, which is a nice sign to see. And they've done a good job. They've responded well. Now they just got to pair together scores and stops.
That's the thing about Jeff Gardner's team. We talked about it before the game, as Hunter's going to go to the line for 2 shots here. Toombs picks up a second. You know, they just don't know when they're beating this team.
Yeah, they have a lot of grit, and they're a pretty inexperienced team. Like we mentioned, they lost a lot of production from last year, but because that they're so inexperienced, that can be a good thing at times, because they don't, like you said, they don't know when they've been put away, and so they really are never put away, and they just do a really good job responding.
Hunter goes 1 for 2. He's now 2 of 3 officially at the line, as Dane Housley gets set to check back in here for the Falcons. Tate Van Coleman, Ethan Gagnon, Josh Davis, Mason Hunter, and Tate Larson, the 5, on the floor for the Falcons, who have been down by as many as 15. Swing cross court, Bowman. Back up top, Farrell, open look 3, yes! And this is now the largest lead for Corner Canyon. Quickly in transition, back up to Josh Davis from Mason Hunter, and back to Hunter again. Hunter, step back jumper. No, tipped up against the glass. Rattled out of bounds, it'll stay here.
Really good job by Josh Davis, just battling on the boards. He wasn't able to get the rebound, but because he was fighting so hard for it, he was able to knock it away, and they're able to get another possession. They haven't really hit very many jump shots. The only jump shot that Skyridge, I think, has hit tonight has been that Tate Larson half-court shot. Eventually those shots are going to fall, but you'd like to see it now rather than when it's too late.
Like that right there from Housley, but he couldn't finish it. And here come the Chargers once more in transition. Kozlowski fakes. One more, 3 on the way. Air ball right over the top. Skyridge needs a basket, and they need it in the worst way, down by 16 here with under a minute to go. Or just over a minute to go. Mason Hunter fakes. He drives, floats it off the lane. Won't go. Kozlowski the rebound. After starting with the first 7 points, Kozlowski only has 5 here. And make it 14 now as he hits that Jay from outside the key.
That's a ridiculous shot. Just a little fadeaway, 18-foot shot. That's just a ridiculous play. And great defense. Sometimes you just tip your hat to the guy and say, that's a great shot.
Shows you why he was offered by BYU.
Absolutely.
Brody Kozlowski, as Josh Davis now matched up on him. He goes up, gets it stripped from behind by Farrell. And the shot clock's about even with the game clock, so we'll call it good. And this will probably be the last possession of what's been a very dominated Charger first half.
And here it's important for Skyridge. Looks like Corner Canyon's going to hold it for the last shot. They got to crash the boards. Don't let them get a second opportunity late in the possession after playing great defense throughout this entire possession.
5 on the shot clock. Kozlowski drives, lost it. Maybe another chance for another half-court shot. Davis. And one's going to count anyway if it went in. It came after the buzzer. So thoughts of the first half, Colton, it's about what we expected. Corner Canyon putting muscle with hustle, and they're up about as comfortably as we thought they would be.
Yeah, and besides that 11-0 start, Skyridge did a good job competing in that half, so it's important for them to come out, realize, hey, we are down 18, but we've been in this scenario before and we've come back. It is the #1 team in the state, but we got to just worry about us, be solid every possession, and finish on the offense and defensive ends.
Brody Kozlowski led the way with 14 points in that first half, and he's given Corner Canyon an 18-point lead at the break. The #1 team in the state, showing you why they are. 33-15 Corner Canyon at the break. When you come back, we'll have thoughts from the first half and what each team needs to do to win in the second half. This is KSLSports.com and the Rewind Sports Network's presentation of Utah High School boys basketball.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Stonehaven Dental. Schedule online at stonehavendental.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Rewind Sports Network's presentation of Skyridge basketball, presented by Western Governors University, UCCU, and Heidemann and Associates. Alexander Timble alongside my broadcast partner, Colton Potter, here at Skyridge High School in Lehigh. I'd like to remind you that KSL Sports and the Rewind Sports Network's presentation of high school sports is presented by Western Governors University, where you can earn your degree on your own time and at your own pace. Well, Colton, we talked with Jeff Gardner before the game, and he said they needed to limit turnovers and they needed to play smart and hit jump shots, too. They haven't done any of that in the first half.
No, they haven't. They've only made 4 field goals, and 3 of them were layups, and 1 was a half-court shot. They've got to be able to hit shots within the flow of their offense. They're not going to be able to control the paint, so they're going to have to hit threes and jump shots if they want to cut into the deficit. And on the other end of the court, Brody Kozlowski is a monster. He's 14 points. He's controlled the glass on both ends, and he's almost outscored Skyridge on his own in the first half. And if Skyridge wants to get back into this game, they're going to have to find ways to stop him in the paint.
Yeah, Brody Kozlowski has 14 points. Skyridge has 15 total points. And we also pointed out that there are only 3 players for Skyridge that have scored, and most of them have been from the free throw line. Only 4 made field goals in that first half.
Yeah, and they, like we said, they just have to hit shots. They played sped up for the majority of the first half, but when they slowed down, they found good looks, and I really like that they're starting the second half with Jackson Mostetler. I thought he gave them some really good minutes off the bench and was able to provide some points in the paint for them, which is going to be big for them, not just tonight, but going on throughout the rest of the season.
Chargers will start with the ball to begin half number 2, leading by 18. Well, we warn you, though, that Skyridge has done this before. They've come back from large deficits. In fact, they took the lead last weekend against Lone Peak, but this is a bit of a tougher ask as Lewis hits that ball away shot off the key, and this is now the latest largest lead for Corner Canyon.
And while only 3 players scored for Skyridge, all 5 starters plus Neibauer off the bench scored for Corner Canyon. They had a really good job of having a balanced offensive attack in the first half, obviously led by Brody Kozlowski.
Toombs diving on the floor for that one, and he finds Jackson Roberts all by himself, and he puts it down! And that's just a smidge of how dangerous this Chargers team can be. As Housley goes up, he gets blocked. Mosteller puts up a long 3, and a much-needed basket there for Skyridge. That's the first jump shot I think they've hit in a while. Kozlowski wide open with no Hunter the rebound.
And again, this is a situation where, oh, what a move by Hunter.
Try to find Josh Davis, but he got reached in there. It'll go against Callan Lewis. That, I believe, is going to be his second.
So far, their offense has really been Mason Hunter being aggressive and Jackson Mostetler scoring in the paint and providing. He has 8 of their 18 points. They got to get J.J. Jordan and some of the other guys going.
Well, Lewis was on top of him right there as they'll reset out front. A 19-point lead for the Chargers. Largest lead was just 20 a few minutes ago. Davis wants the screen, finds Mosteller in the paint, and he got fouled on the way up by Max Toombs. And meanwhile, Jackson Roberts is hunched over here on the left side. It looked like he got hit in the stomach by Dane Housley's left arm.
And Corner Canyon and Max Toombs didn't like that foul call, but it was a good call. He was straight up, and then as Mosteller went up for the shot, he brought his arm down. And if you want that verticality to not result in a foul, you can't bring your arms down. You have to keep them up the whole time and can't swat at the ball.
Mosteller hits both, and it's now a 17-point lead for Corner Canyon. Roberts comes out. Bowman comes back in. You see him on the almost on the top of your screen there, number 3, holding on to his stomach. Looked like he got the wind knocked out of Max Toombs. No, Mosteller the rebound. Housley driving against Bowman off the glass. No. And Kozlowski cleans up the spill.
Again, that's a strong move by Dane Housley, but that shot's just not there. And that early into a possession, you can't do that. And every time that they've taken a bad shot, it seems like Brody Kozlowski comes down the court and takes and makes a good shot.
A 17-point night for Brody Kozlowski. And I have to think he has to be approaching double-double territory as Mason Hunter misses that three badly. But he comes back off the offensive board, finds Mosteller, back it goes to Housley for three, and he answers back. Kozlowski gonna try it again for three. Too strong. Corner Canyon bench wanted a foul. They didn't get it. Extend max. Toombs goes strong. Count it. And one.
Yeah, that's an example of great defense, a good contest, and then nobody going after the ball for Skyridge. The ball bounced twice on a long rebound. Toombs was shocked it came to him and was able to drive into the lane and get an and one. And Skyridge has done a decent job defensively, but they haven't finished possessions with the rebound. And that's also a reason that they find themselves down 19 points.
Toombs can't hit the free throw. The closest Skyridge has been was 15 points. Hunter strong to the goal. No. Kozlowski again the rebound. And Hunter almost got that dribble handoff, but Toombs is able to regain control of it out front. And he'll put up a long three. No good. Hunter the rebound. He's got a 2-on-1. If he looks up, he goes strong. Good contester from Kozlowski. And then Farrell tried to save it. Stolen to Davis. Back to Mosteller and then to Hunter, who banks it in off the glass. Roberts drives, right hand, got it, and the foul. Just too easy.
Jackson Roberts is kind of the forgotten star on this team, but he's averaging almost 15 points a game, and he's a legit number one scoring option on a team that already has two of them, which is why they're the number one team of the state. They're just loaded with talent on the offensive end. And their size and length make things so difficult on the defensive end as well. They're really putting on a show tonight and showcasing why they're the best team in the state.
It is as we expected, as Roberts completes the three-point play, and the lead, just like that, goes back up to 20. Gagnon kicks it out. Larson. And here's Tate Van Coleman now back up to Mason Hunter. Hunter for three. And Toombs the rebound. Toombs behind the back goes strong. And we're going to get a jump ball. And that's not going to matter because the possession arrow will go back to Skyridge. Again, it was Mason Hunter that made the play underneath.
He's done a really nice job defensively tonight. He hasn't been able to get it going on the offensive end with only 7 points, but he's done a really good job on Max Toombs and has made things really difficult for him.
And now we're going to see Davis Fyans come in for the first time as Tate Van Coleman limped off to the bench. And meanwhile, Cannon Jensen's over on the medical table getting some treatment. Looks like on his knee. Would explain why we haven't seen him in a while. Fyans.
Oh, great pass.
Gagnon for three. Left it short. Trying to get the rebound, and Farrell says, that's mine.
Shot didn't go down, but that was a great pass by Davis Fyans.
Toombs for three. Tipped out of bounds. It'll stay here. Shot clock will also reset to 35. And Van Coleman comes back onto the floor. And Mason Hunter will take a seat. 3:17 to go here in the third quarter. What's been a dominating performance by Corner Canyon as that pass is stolen by Tate Larson. Lyons loops it out to Larson. They'll try a deep three. That's no good. Long rebound comes off to Gagnon. Back to Tate Larson. Great pass.
Tate Larson's also had himself a nice game for Skyridge at the half-court shot, but he's done a nice job of penetrating and making things not quite so easy on the defensive end.
Meanwhile, we're going to get a blocking foul on the other end against Tate Larson, who just made the basket. Josh Davis comes back in, replacing Jackson Mosteller. Taylor Farrell comes out as well. Larson now has 3 fouls. Callan Lewis for Corner Canyon has 3 fouls. Max Toombs also has 3. But Brody Kozlowski is currently cooking something of a monster performance here, as that one is blocked by Roberts on the 3 try by Fyans. Here comes Lewis. Kozlowski matched up against the smaller Van Coleman, tries to go right at him. Hand off to Chandler. Lewis drives along the baseline, gets tied up by Gagnon, and they will stalemate right there. Jump ball, it'll stay here with the Chargers.
Kozlowski has 19 points, and I would venture to guess that he's missed maybe 2 shots. He's just been extremely efficient tonight. Wow, what a play.
Jackson Roberts with a little now you see me, now you don't move. And this now the latest, largest lead as Fyans is fouled going to the basket. And Jeff Gardner's looking at the official. He was not very happy with what just transpired down there at the other end.
I think he's frustrated that it's not a shooting foul, because Davis Fyans was clearly going in to go up for a layup. They said the foul was on the ground. Some of those can be tough calls, but he clearly thought it should have been a shooting foul.
Gagnon now against Kozlowski. That pass deflected and stolen. Up ahead, here
What a
comes
pass.
Jackson Roberts, up and under. What a move!
That was a great pass by Brody Kozlowski to start that transition break, and just a great job by Jackson Roberts with the body control to avoid the defender and make that tough transition layup.
Well, we warned you all, folks, at the beginning of the night that this could turn into a boat race, and that's exactly what we have right now. Carson Tebb's now going to check in for Brody Kozlowski, so I suspect he'll get a rest for now, and then he'll get a curtain call later on in the 4th quarter. Not that he needs one right now from the Charger student section down there, as the officials are having a conference to see where the inbound's going to take place. Or potentially could be who the foul is on, too. Anyway, we're back off and running again. Larson. Davis. Gagnon. Looking. Kicks it to Van Coleman. 20 on the shot clock, and we're going to get an offensive foul against Josh Davis.
These are important minutes for Skyridge, even though the game is, at this point, most likely out of reach. It's important to continue to build momentum and just get better. They have a young team, and just get better get those players minutes and opportunities in games. It's a tough call, but
Fyans goes down to the deck hard, fouled there by Jackson Roberts. That's his second. Tate Bowman will replace him. Mason Hunter at the scorer's table getting set to check in for Skyridge. Davis Fyans will head to the line. And the first shot on the way by the young man is good. Just a reminder that The Utah Jazz camps are now on. If you need plans for spring break, you can register for the Utah Jazz camps and clinics. Your child will receive the best instruction in the Beehive State, along with a Jazz swag bag and a ticket voucher to any Jazz home game of your choice. Secure your child's spot today at utahjazzcamps.com to improve their basketball skills, get active, and have fun. One minute remaining here in the third quarter of a 22-point lead for the Corner Canyon Chargers. It's their largest lead they've enjoyed all night long. Really has not been a surprise much of the time. Lewis, long three. And this, the largest lead of the game now. Mason Hunter would just check back in, goes up strong through the contact, had that with a go, rat-a-tats around. Shot clock's now turned off. I don't know if he sees it. Tried to get it inside to Davis, who got hacked by Chandler. So it'll be an inbound from underneath the goal with 25.2 officially left here in the third quarter. And Van Coleman will just back it out.
Last time they were in this situation, Mason Hunter went way too early. Let's see if they truly hold and wait for the last shot here.
Down to 5. Davis, hook shot, rolls off the rim. Chandler the rebound with 2, with 1. Is Bowman going to get it off? He does! And it's off the mark. And that will do it for the third quarter. Corner Canyon comfortably in front here in this one. They lead 54-29. Back with the fourth quarter after this word from Mountain Land Power Supply Company.
Mountain Land Power Equipment provides exceptional service and high-quality brands you know and trust in lawn, landscaping, and snow removal products. Our experienced staff of technicians repair all types of snow plows, snow blowers, lawn mowers, small engines, and is trained. Answer questions about lawn, garden, snow removal, and landscaping products. Mountain Land Power Equipment, now with 2 locations to serve you in Salt Lake City and Springville.
Welcome back for the fourth quarter of Skyridge basketball, the Rewind Sports Network, presented by Western Governors University, Heidemann & Associates, and UCCU, Alexander Timolp and Colton Potter. Corner Canyon flexing their muscle as expected here. They're up 54-29 behind 19 points and a double-double from Brody Kozlowski, the BYU offered recruit. So Colton, what Skyridge does here in the next 8 minutes or so will go a long way to determine how well they'll respond for the rest of the season. They still got 2 more games after this, and they ain't cakewalks.
No game's a cakewalk in this region, but this quarter, nice shot there, goes down for Skyridge. But this quarter, I think, is a lot just about executing. Just continue to get better. Take every opportunity to get better and execute on the offense and defensive end.
Osteller blocked there by Chandler. That's the 5th block of the game for the Chargers as Davis wrestles that one away from Lewis. Hunter wing side 3. No. And then Davis blocked by Tebbs, but he's fouled on the shot.
It's just been that kind of night for Mason
Yeah,
Hunter
it sure
on the
has.
offensive end.
No kidding.
I really do think he's played really well tonight. Just sometimes shots just don't go down. But one thing you'll never see Skyridge do is quit, and they've shown that they're still playing hard offensively, defensively. They're going to go hard after every loose ball, every rebound, until there's no time left on the clock.
And that really does wonders, Colton, for a young and an experienced team like Jeff Gardner's side. I mean, we saw them. This is our 3rd time getting to watch Skyridge this year. They were up double digits in the first game we called back in December at the Falcon Classic. Then they were down by 20 against the Westlake Thunder, and they subsequently cut that to a 5-point game. like I said, this team just doesn't know when they're beat.
Yeah, they just do. Coach Gardner does a really good job of just believing in his players and getting max effort out of them. They don't always execute perfectly, but they play every possession extremely hard, and I think that's important.
Callan Lewis, long three, no good. Van Coleman gets the rebound. Gagnon hit the deck off the box out attempt by Owen Borg, who just checked in. Housley goes below the free throw line. He can't shoot. Josh Davis drives hard. He goes off glass and he scores. And this is the closest Skyridge has been in quite a while at 17 points.
These are also important minutes for Corner Canyon, too. They got it. Most of their main 6-7 players in rotation are either juniors or seniors. And so it's important to get other younger players some minutes in meaningful varsity games, even when the deficit's out of reach, just to get them prepared for next season when they lose guys like Max Toombs, and that they continue to just get better.
Boy, Jackson Mostiller's had himself quite a nice night off the bench.
Yeah, he's up to 12 points to lead the way for Skyridge. He's probably earned himself more minutes moving forward. Like you said, this is our third game calling. I don't think we've seen him on the court once in the previous two games, but he's brought them a nice little spark off the bench tonight.
Callan Lewis, swing side three, knocks it down. And more subs getting ready to check in here for Dan Lunt's Chargers. Enoch Mitchell, Tyler Mortensen is standing at the scores table. Bosteller, hook shot, rolls off the rim, tipped out of bounds. That should be Corner Canyon ball, it is. Tyler Mortensen comes in. Bowman out. And I suspect with the score where it is, the benches are probably going to be emptied here for the last 5 minutes or so of the game. Owen Borg inside. Nice pass from Chandler. The BYU signee who's going to be off to serve a mission at the end of the season as Housley puts up a three. That's not good. Fight for the rebound. It should be Skyridge ball. It is. Wells Robertson now in here for the Chargers. Jory and Fyans in for the Falcons. With 4:35 to go, barring something miraculous, I would say this one is probably done and dusted as Bosteller rattles that one in off the great inbound pass.
It's a great pass by Fyans, just a nice little subtle head nod. Realized he was going to be open on that lob, and Bosteller's really had himself a nice night.
A shot no good and a foul. Called on Jackson Anderson, so the benches are indeed being emptied here for both sides with the scoreline where it is. And while we have a moment, while Isaac Neibauer goes to the line, we want to send a special shout out to Cypress High School and their boys basketball team. Of course, many of you know Quentin Meza passed the 2,000 point mark in his career last night, but it's also been a difficult week for the Pirates program. Their assistant coach, Terry Taylor, succumbing to injuries that he suffered at an accident 2 weeks ago. We want to send our love to him and to his family. We want to send our love, of course, to the entire Cypress boys basketball team and their coaching staff under head coach Trey Smith. We are definitely thinking about them and their families through this very difficult time. Cy Hansen checked in, by the way, for Skyridge with under 4 minutes to go now here in the game. And the Chargers up by 23, as they have been for most of the night. Shot clock down to 10. Hansen against Neibauer, drives inside and scores. 64-43. And that three on the way is off the mark. Rebound Jackson Anderson. Here comes Fyans again. Skyridge will go to 0-8 in region play. I don't think Colton, that was something really people thought of at the beginning of the season as Anderson misses that off the back rim. But Jeff Gardner told us before the game, the record really doesn't show just how competitive this team has been in every single game this season.
Yeah, it's really the lack of just a post presence has really hurt them because they go through these cold shooting slumps. And so they'll be in a game or even have a lead in a game. The next thing they know they're down 10 or 12 points because they aren't hitting shots and they're turning the ball over. And so it's something they've got to figure out moving forward, not just the rest of this season, but into next year as well, as they've got to be able to find somebody who can provide that presence in the post so that way when they do go through shooting slumps that they have someone they can just throw the ball into and say, hey, we need a bucket, go get us a bucket.
You know, in keeping with that is Jordan Kohler and Cohen Fountain now check into the ballgame for Skyridge, so the benches are going to be emptied here. Colton, we live in an era of just so much three-point shooting and analytics, and you have to be able to live and die by the three and whatnot. The presence of a big man, and especially the art of having one that can score and get you out of a shooting slump, is really a lost art in any level of basketball these days.
Yeah, especially in high school, players just aren't developed enough to the point where they can night in and night out,
right,
as a team, shoot threes consistently. And so while it is important and necessary to be able to do that, to compete, especially at the 6A level, you got to have somebody like Brody Kozlowski for Corner Canyon. Maybe not every team's going to have one. He's very few and far between. But you got to have somebody where when things aren't going well, that you can just trust and know that they're going to be able to go get theirs. They can go get a bucket without necessarily the flow of the offense. And Skyridge just doesn't have that person this year, at least right now.
Tyson Alfrey and Luke Yates now check in. So the juniors are now in here. It's an all-juniors lineup here for the Falcons, the bench mob, if you will. As that shot goes down there for Tag Jensen. He also just checked in at the last time out. Tough shot there, no good from Davis Fyans. He's going to go back to the line with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left here in the game. Davis Fyans will go to the line. While he does, we'd like to remind you that coming up at the conclusion of this game, Colton and I will be selecting our choice for the Heidemann & Associates Player of the Game. The full-service law firm that's committed to waiting for their clients. Schedule a free consultation with them today, courtesy of the Rewind Sports Network, by calling them at 801-754-4240 or contacting them online at utah.law. Fyans goes 1 for 2, scrap for it. Yates in the post, turnaround hook shot off the glass, no good. And the rebound captured by Brig Jensen. 3 on the way, Mortensen, that's no good. Offensive rebound saved into the corner, but it goes right into the arms of Fountain. And then it's stolen back. Mortensen is all by himself on the other end, and he'll scoop it in with the left hand. And the beat goes on here in this one.
And now something that might be coming up here for Corner Canyon is once they get into the state tournament, in region play they've been rolling through pretty much everybody. And so sometimes you get curious about the conditioning level of players if they're not playing 4 full quarters, especially when they play a smaller rotation. It'd be interesting to see if Corner Canyon, some games coming up as they get closer to the tournament, if they let Kozlowski and Toombs and some of the other starters, Roberts, that they just get some more minutes later in the game, even if they have a big lead, just to get prepared for their state tournament coming up.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up. how they prepare for the state tournament may also come into question. Real question should be, though, who's going to stop this juggernaut right now in 6A?
Absolutely. I mean,
it's been impressive all season long watching this team.
They're clearly the best team in 6A, and what makes them so tough to stop is,
and they could be possibly the best team in the country, rest of the Rocky Mountains right now. They can make that claim.
Yeah, they're extremely tough, and what makes them so tough is, a lot of good teams in high school, they have one really good scorer, an elite scorer, or they'll have a second elite scorer, but it's extremely tough to have 3 elite scorers, and they have that with Brody Kozlowski, Max Toombs, Jackson Roberts, and then Kellen Lewis is a nice shooter and is capable of scoring double figures on any given night as well. And then you throw in some of the other guys off their bench and other role players, and they're just, at 6'6", and provide such good length and defensive effort. And so there's just not a real weakness to this Corner Canyon team. They can score inside. They can score in fast break. They can run offense. They can shoot the 3. They dominate the glass and the paint. They just don't really have a glaring weakness, and makes them really tough to beat.
Final 26 seconds of this one. There's about a 4-second delay between our clock and the gym clock as that shot is blocked. Shot clock has been disabled, and Mortensen one more. And that 3 off the top of the backboard. Fyans gets the rebound. We'll try for one more shot. Fyans up ahead. Yates can't finish. And that's it. The Corner Canyon Chargers run the winning streak to 12 games as they defeat the Skyridge Falcons in a wire-to-wire victory. They are victorious 74-47. Back to wrap it up after this word from UCCU on the Rewind Sports Network.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Welcome back, everyone. KSLSports.com and the Rewind Sports Network wrapping up coverage of Skyridge basketball presented by UCCU, Western Governors University, and Eidemann & Associates. Corner Canyon leads from wire to wire and dominates the Skyridge Falcons 74-47. Alexander Tamula, Colton Potter here to wrap it up. Colton, about as we expected for tonight.
Yeah, it's Corner Canyon now has won 12 straight games. Skyridge loses their 8th in a row. But there's still 2 games left to be played. Both of these teams still have a lot to play for. Obviously, Corner Canyon with the goal of getting back to the state championship and winning it this year. But just a really impressive showing tonight by the number 1 team in 6A.
So, Colton, we know who is the player of the game. I mean, he had a double-double. By our count, he just made play after play. In only 3 quarters, the BYU recruited man, Brody Kozlowski.
Yeah, he had 19 points, and he did a little bit of everything. He hit 2 threes, he dominated in the paint, and he hit some mid-range jumpers. He's a 6'8", 3-level scorer, a rim protector, and just a beast on the glass. Extremely hard to defend, and he was just really impressive tonight and helped lead Corner Canyon to a wire-to-wire win by scoring the first 7 points of the game, and they just didn't really look back from there.
Yep, Corner Canyon scored 11 straight points to kick off the game. They never looked back. Well, Colton, off we go to West Jordan for the Battle of the Belt, the final region play Battle of the Belt.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. Looking forward to it next week.
We want to thank Mike Christensen on the camera tonight. We want to thank Vince Francis for his work back in Salt Lake helping us with the broadcast. For my broadcast partner, Colton Potter, I'm Alexander Timberlake. This has been a presentation of the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com, the official streaming partner of the UHSAA and your home for the 2023 UHSAA Boys Basketball Playoffs here starting in just over a week's time. The final score, once again, Corner Canyon 74, Skyridge 47. Until we meet again, take care of one another, everyone. Aloha from Utah, and good night.